You might watch videos of complex, autonomous AI agents online and want to build them yourself, but without a foundation, these systems often short out, break apart, and fail. Building reliable artificial intelligence requires mastering boring, predictable, rule-based workflows first. To do that, step away from the keyboard entirely, grab a pen and paper, think like a process engineer, and map out the exact sequence of your workflow before you ever open your software. Ask yourself a few simple questions. Who is taking the action? Where is the initial information coming from? And exactly where does that data need to end up? Drawing this blueprint forces you to sort out the logic in advance, which saves you from frustrating crashes when you finally begin connecting the digital pieces. Think of building your automated workflow like running a restaurant. The very first step to serving a meal is getting the customer through the front door. This map shows the software's front door. On the far left is a form trigger, like a hostess taking a reservation. When a user fills out a contact form, this trigger catches two predictable pieces of information: their email address and their specific message. By securing these exact inputs right at the entrance, we ensure that the rest of our digital restaurant has the reliable ingredients it needs to start cooking. Now that we have the customer's information, we have to carry it to its next stop, like a Google Sheet where we store our new leads. To connect them, we use an API, an application programming interface. Think of the API as our waiter. The customer sits completely separated from the kitchen. You simply hand your order ticket to the waiter, who carries it safely back to the chefs. Without APIs acting as messengers, every software tool you use would be completely isolated, unable to share any information. Sometimes, the waiter needs to give the kitchen special instructions. In automation, we call these extra details headers. They tell the receiving software what format the data is in, or prove that we have the proper authorization to be there. The kitchen shouts back replies called status codes. A 200s number means the request was successfully executed. 400s mean a problem with the order, like missing VIP credentials. 500s mean the destination server is experiencing an internal error or is offline. Reading these status codes takes the guesswork out of troubleshooting. Instead of wondering why a workflow broke, the system points directly to the failure. Now, what happens if the kitchen needs an hour to prepare a complex dish? You could have the waiter walk back every 5 minutes to ask, "Is it ready yet?" A process we call polling. But that constant checking wastes a lot of energy. Instead, we use something called a webhook to handle events that take time. A webhook acts exactly like a restaurant table pager or a doorbell. You set it down, you relax, and it actively rings your system the exact second the data is ready to pick up. Waiting for a signal rather than constantly checking keeps your automations highly efficient and saves computer processing power for the work that matters. This flowchart shows how our restaurant metaphor translates into software. We start at the form trigger on the left. The API carries the email through a filter to a spam checker, gets a 200 status back, and routes clean data into our Google Sheet. Because every step of this journey is bound by strict logical rules, the data flows exactly the same way, with absolute predictability every single time. Operating silently in the background around the clock, a reliable path like this can process thousands of inquiries, saving you countless hours of manual work. This visual guide shows the next evolution. Only after you have built this reliable path for your data can you safely add an AI agent, giving it predefined tools to use without the system collapsing. Mastering how data moves from point A to point B is the gateway to teaching systems how to think. So, grab a piece of paper and start sketching out your very first workflow.